Hey, and welcome back. Have you read the Lord of the Rings trilogy? I mean, these three books? If you're not, maybe I could recommend you these three books. Alright, so just like this, if you are also recommending some other books to your friends, for example, the Harry Potter series, you wouldn't just hand out the set of books and just say read, right? You would give them a certain order in which they should read. For example, if I give you these three books, I'm going to tell you first you need to read The Fellowship of the Ring. Second, I would like you to read The Two Towers. Then go for The Return of the King, right? I'm giving you a list of books and I'm also specifying a specific order in which you should read. And for example, let's just say you go for shopping, right? Whenever you go for shopping, you have a list of things that you don't have to buy in any particular order, right? So if I say go to the shop and get some milk, vegetables, something else also, or some kind of like fried rice or something like that, you don't have to buy them in an order. You can just grab the first thing that gets to you, or grab the first thing that you see on your way out and get that as well, right? So you don't have to follow a specific order for some lists, whereas for some lists you have to follow a specific order. For example, a cooking instruction might require you to follow a certain steps, right? So some lists have a certain order and some lists don't have a certain order. And that's what we're going to look at in today's video. In today's video, we're going to look into HTML lists. In HTML as well, there are two different types of lists: ordered list and as well as unordered list. All right, so we're going to look into that. So firstly, open your Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code is also called as VS Code. VS basically means Visual Studio. So when I open it, I already have my folder opened. So the folder which we are working up until now. So I also have my index.html. So the first thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to create a HTML tag and also a head tag, also a body tag. If you want to continue in the same previous file which you did for the previous exercises, I think that should be fine. But just for explanation purposes or just to maintain clarity, I'm kind of like using a different file. All right. So inside the body, let's start off with lists. So firstly, I'm going to have a heading. I'm going to say organized lists, right? So that is my heading, and inside the heading, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write something called as OL. All right. OL basically means organized list. All right. Once again, you have to remember OL is a tag, which means it has an opening as well as it has an ending, right? So what do we have inside a list? We have items, right? We have list items. So we call them as LI. So inside a list, we have list items. The list items are defined by LI. So we have LI tags, and also LI tag also has an opening as well as a closing. So firstly, you can start writing, book number 1. Then you can have another list item, book number 2, and then you can have another list item. And by the way, if you're not understanding how I'm able to get a shortcut for that, just press LI, and if you hit tab, Visual Studio Code automatically fills it up for you, fills up the tag for you. All right, it's very handy. Okay, next, book number 3, right? Now the cool part about this is if I open my browser and pull in my file and see, it automatically gives the items a number. It has 1, 2, 3 here, right? But here we did not mention any number. The only reason why HTML adds those numbers for us is because we mentioned it is an organized list, right? It means it has a sequence which you must particularly follow. All right, so now let's look at unorganized list. Organized list. And just like organized list, unorganized list is basically UL. All right, unorganized list. And inside that list, we once again have a list item. We can buy a book. Let's say, it's a shopping list. We can say buy milk, newspaper, or rice. If I save and if I go back and if I refresh, you can see that for an unorganized list, it shows dots, which means there is no specific order for these lists. All right. So that's how you create unorganized as well as organized lists. So these are going to be very important when you kind of like, are creating a sort of your own blog, or when you're trying to write down a set of instructions that you want your reader to follow, or you just want to kind of like, say all these things would be required for you to, in order to prepare a particular recipe, or go and get these things, or in order to prepare something, you need to have these things, right? So that's the use cases for lists. So I hope you understood. Once again, if you have any sort of questions regarding any topic, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will answer to each and every single one of them. All right, I'll see you in the next one.